Part 1 of the Life of Saint Macrina. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The Life of Saint Macrina by St. Gregory of Nyssa. Translated by W. K. Lowther Clark, B.D. To the Monk Olympius. Introduction. The form of this volume, if one may judge from its heading, is apparently epistolary, but its bulk exceeds that of a letter, extending as it does to the length of a book. My apology must be that the subject on which you bade me write is greater than can be compressed within the limits of a letter. I am sure you do not forget our meeting, when on my way to Jerusalem in pursuance of a vow, in order to see the relics of the Lord sojourning in the flesh on the actual spots, I ran across you in the city of Antioch. And you must remember all the different talks we enjoyed, for it was not likely that our meeting would be a silent one, when your wit provided so many subjects for conversation. As often happens at such times, the talk flowed on until we came to discuss the life of some famous person. In this case it was a woman who provided us with our subject, if indeed she should be styled woman, for I do not know whether it is fitting to designate her by her sex, who so surpassed her sex. Our account of her was not based on the narrative of others, but our talk was an accurate description of what we had learned by personal experience, nor did it need to be authenticated by strangers. Nor even was the Virgin referred to unknown to our family circle, to make it necessary to learn the wonders of her life through others. But she came from the same parents as ourselves, being, so to speak, an offering of first fruits, since she was the earliest born of my mother's womb. As then you have decided that the story of her noble career is worth telling, to prevent such a life being unknown to our time, the record of a woman who raised herself by philosophy to the greatest height of human virtue, passing into the shades of useless oblivion, I thought it well to obey you, and in a few words, as best I can, to tell her story in unstudied and simple style. Macrina's parents. The Virgin's name was Macrina. She was so called by her parents after a famous Macrina some time before in the family, our father's mother, who had confessed Christ like a good athlete in the time of the persecutions. This indeed was her name to the outside world, the one used by her friends. But another name had been given her privately, as the result of a vision before she was born into the world. For indeed her mother was so virtuous that she was guided on all occasions by the divine will. In particular, she loved the pure and unstained mode of life so much that she was unwilling to be married. But since she had lost both her parents, and was in the very flower of her youthful beauty, and the fame of her good looks was attracting many suitors, and there was danger that, if she were not mated to some one willingly, she might suffer some unwished-for violent fate, seeing that some men, inflamed by her beauty, were ready to abduct her. On this account she chose for her husband a man who was known and approved for the gravity of his conduct, and so gained a protector of her life. The birth of Macrina. At her first confinement she became the mother of Macrina. When the due time came for her pangs to be ended by delivery, she fell asleep and seemed to be carrying in her hands that which was still in her womb. And some one in form and raiment more splendid than a human being appeared, and addressed the child she was carrying by the name of Thecla, that Thecla, I mean, who is so famous among the virgins. After doing this and testifying to it 3 times, he departed from her sight and gave her easy delivery, so that at that moment she awoke from sleep and saw her dream realized. Now this name was used only in secret, but it seems to me that the apparition spoke not so much to guide the mother to a right choice of name, as to forecast the life of the young child, and to indicate by the name that she would follow her namesake's mode of life. Macrina's childhood. Well, the child was reared. Although she had her own nurse,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?